actually in bed. It's actually pretty late now, but unfortunately I'm unable to sleep. I have been unable to sleep for these past few days, and it just seems to get worse.
Maria Garcia Juarez, age 23, was brought into the U.S. by her mother at the age of 8 months. Next week, she's being deported, leaving behind her 1.5-year-old son and her husband, who's sick from leukemia. They're U.S. citizens. She's not. Why shouldn't she be deported?
I mean, she's been here since she was 8 months old. She made some bad choices. She was 17 years old. She's completely turned her life around. I mean, I think a lot of times with immigration, you look at these cases, they don't look at them as people.
5 years ago in Salinas, California, Juarez did drugs, stole cars, and led police on a high-speed chase. By then, her parents were gone, and she was living with family friends in a part of town where gangs were a part of life.
She was not part of a gang, but you also have to consider her circumstances. I mean, we would be more forgiving to anyone else in her situation.
Juarez came to Michigan, where she went straight, worked hard, and applied for asylum. But when that was denied, she was ordered to leave the country. The hope now is to get the Board of Immigration Appeals to reconsider her case. What is the best case scenario for her at this point?
The BIA approves her request to go back to the immigration judge here in Detroit, and she wins her cancellation of removal case.
Those typically take a long time.
They do, yes.
What's the worst case scenario?
She leaves, and it'll be a long time for her to come back.
Attorney Karine Salah says it might be 1 year, maybe 10 years before she can return. But Juarez has taken the first step toward leaving.
It's the Delta Airlines, so she was right. We leave at 8:45, and I get there by 12:30. So it looks like that's my flight.
The government has given Juarez a choice. She can pick a place in Mexico to fly to next week, but she has to prove she's purchased an airline ticket this week.
I actually don't know much about Mexico. I've never been there, so everything, wherever I go, it's gonna be completely new to me.
But where would she go? She's just made contact with an uncle she's never met in Guadalajara, thanks to her grandmother.
She talked to him, and I called him, and now, he knows that I'll be going over there soon. So, definitely, I don't know them. I really don't know them, but I have to go.
But then there's the other option. Don't go. Stay anyway. But then ICE could come get her. She could be detained, sent to jail. Juarez and her attorney consulted some lawyers at the University of Detroit Mercy Immigration Law Clinic.
I think one of the concerns is that when people are detained, if they're removed from detention, I've heard stories, I've gotten phone calls from people saying, I was dropped off in the middle of the night in a very, very dangerous city like, Juarez, and that's a very scary situation, and that's definitely something that factors into the decision as to whether I just, whether I take the opportunity to buy this ticket and fly back, or whether I'm going to fight out my case as I'm entitled to do, but taking the chance of getting removed.
What it looks like is that I will be leaving. As much as I would want to fight it here, there's definitely not a big guarantee, and it would, the time I would be in jail would be indeterminate, and that is scary for me. I don't want to be in jail. There was a good chance of me, fighting my case out here, but unfortunately, there's not a high chance. So what it looks like, I'll be leaving to Mexico on May 26th. And unfortunately, they couldn't give me any better news or any better hope.